while since I put up a video, but as some of you know, I'm involved with organisations to try and promote the work that they're doing to get more of the elderly to embrace the world of computing and the internet, which has involved me in a fair bit of travelling and promotion stuff lately. Recently I told you of a competition set up by Age Concern and British Telecom to find the Internet Champion 2010. Well, there was a huge response, and last week we made our selection from the 15 shortlisted candidates. And yesterday those winners were awarded their prizes at the ceremony in London. And whilst I was there, I had the opportunity to discuss with the other judges, who were from our government and industry, ways in which we thought that we could achieve our aim to get more, if not all, of our elderly citizens onto the internet. The projected statistics indicate that in a very few years there'll be 40% of the population who will be elderly. I'm not too sure how they define elderly, but naturally governments and local authorities and businesses will have to set in motion now many ways in which that huge group can be supported. I don't know whether that means financially or with services, etc., but that is the projected percentage. And it's estimated at the present time in the UK alone there are 6 million elderly people who do not have access to the internet, and worldwide that figure must be enormous. So how do we go about it? Well, our government has set up a department to tackle the problem, who will work with organisations like Age Concern and educational institutes to run courses of instruction, and many of these courses already exist, of course, and do good work for those elderly who have taken the plunge. Also, the winners of the competition will be used to tell their stories of the benefits that they have enjoyed through the use of the internet when they are put in front of various media outlets, in order to encourage more of the elderly to take the plunge. And of course, with this huge untapped market, industry will find ways to get involved too. However, what of all the elderly people who, for one reason or another, are unwilling to take the plunge? And from my experience of contact with my peers, that's the norm rather than the exception. Although some won't see those benefits of any interest to them at all, but others, I believe, who can see the benefits have a fear or embarrassment to make a start. Fear because they believe that it's too complicated and difficult, that it involves all of our geek talk that they don't understand, and that things have moved on at such a fast rate in the world of computing and electronic gadgetry that they're just left too far behind. So I feel this is where we should be giving the maximum attention. After all, it's no good selling the benefits of the internet until you have a computer to access it. Simple, like the Meerkat advert says. Well, maybe not quite as simple as that, but you know what I mean. So this is where I would like your help. Let's get to the grassroots, so to speak. If in your family you have a parent or a grandparent who you could encourage to overcome their fears and show them all the things that can be done, then that would be a wonderful thing to do. I mean, point out to them that the computer is only a tool to be used. They don't need to know how it works, and it's no different from the ignition switch in their car that sends a signal to its computer to make it work, or the button on the washing machine that operates all the settings they've chosen, etc., or any other analogy that you can think of. It's just a tool sending electrical signals at the speed of light and you won't bear any personal grudges. You may need patience and possibly a lot of perseverance, but the end is very much worth the effort, I think. And it's now the time that the young can reverse the usual roles in life where they, that's you, have more experience than the old. I know it's a dream, but what if every family got just one person enrolled, so to speak? Then the problem would be solved. Simple. Maybe not. So what I'd like you to do for me, please think about getting involved and do a video response telling your story. It doesn't have to be long if you don't wish it to be, but I mean, it's just be as long as you like. I mean, maybe you might just say, oh, I don't know, I got Granny into it and now you can't get her off the thing, or Granddad doesn't want to listen to me or no, and tell us why and what he said, etc. I can't promise a way to reward you, but I do promise that if there are enough responses that I will, with your permission, make a DVD of them and see that it gets to our UK government department, the Age Concern charity, and with contacts that I have in Washington, no, not Obama, but with the American AARP organization, I will see that it gets to them. Of course, I don't know what they might do with it, but I can't believe that it wouldn't be a very useful thing to show at a conference, or maybe when they are in the sight of media, of television or whatever. But so please, if you are able, do a video response in whatever country you are and tell me what you have done or are prepared to do, and we can gather some information that I think will be useful to everybody. So in anticipation of your responses, that's all for now. I hope I'll see you again very soon, but until then.
As I think he is. And that's how I found you.
All right. Well, I hope I am. I present myself as I am. You get what you see. But it's a wonderful story about the change of attitude from those people in the residential home who had such an increased benefit to their life by you introducing them to computers and giving them the television sets for their entertainment. It's a very wonderful thing to do.
Thank you. It is entertainment because it makes the time go by quicker, but the change in their attitude, Peter, the way they treat each other, they were isolated individuals, for the most part, isolated individuals.
Carrying on from our last conversation, Terry, I was very interested to hear about the involvement of the young people with the old people, or the elderly people, as we should say, and I think there are great benefits there. So can you, sort of within 2 or 3 minutes, just give me a little rundown on how you thought that went and what the benefits were?
Well, initially, when the local high school teacher for internet technology made the suggestion, I had some mild apprehension, wondering about how senior citizens and high school students would get on together, whether differences would be too much. However, what I was amazed at is that they took one another as I paired them off in teams one-on-one. They took off together just fine, and introductions were made. They were very attentive. The students were very attentive as they listened to the elderly introduce themselves. And we began. And the elderly seemed very just amazed at what a computer could do, but the friendships that developed between the two, the elderly and high school students, seemed to come quite naturally, and they spoke and talked back and forth as if they'd been friends for years. So that really amazed me in itself. But what I think was more important was that they developed a friendship between the senior and the high school student that will go on to become, in my hopes, a lifelong friendship. And I think that that's important in today's day and age. That that high school students or younger students work hand in hand with the elderly, and they can learn so much from the elderly, and the elderly can learn so much from the high school students.
Yes, Terry, I'm just going to jump in there because yes, I absolutely agree with you, and of course, if those friendships develop, then they can help those people, those elderly people they've made friends with, when they are too are encouraged to get computers in their own home. And this is something I'm very keen to sort of foster, because the young are the knowledgeable ones here, and if we can get some sort of setup for the young to meet the elderly, then that would be an absolute bonus, wouldn't it?
It certainly is. And as we go on in our coming weeks with the classes, I think those relationships will develop and become more cemented. And an example for our first class, as I paired them up, at the end of the day, one of the seniors needed a ride home. And we arranged for the high schooler to in fact, the high schooler rather volunteered to take her home. And when they got there, the high schooler took a shovel and cleaned her walk. It's quite snowy in the winter here. And they sat and they talked for 4.5 hours and have become great friends.
Well,
Uh,
I'm jumping in again here, Terry, just because of the time of the recording. Um,
right,
I
trying to
think
keep.
all of that's absolutely wonderful. So I'm going to end this little interview here, and we'll do further interviews in the very near future. So